I'm so glad you're here because it's time. Come away into the cinders of memory and the embers of imagination. This is Story Cinders. So, this story is another one from memory. It takes place when I was 5 years old, and I know I was 5 years old because it was the very first time I ever went to church. The my birth family, I never went to church with my birth family, but when I was placed in my what would be my permanent foster home, which would become my adoptive home, she started us going to church. My adopted mama started us going to church. So I started hearing all of the grown-ups talking about, oh, we going to the house of the Lord. We're going to God's house. This is Jesus's house and all this stuff. So I'm like, what? So you telling me we going to the house of God? Like when I go there, I'm gonna see Jesus. Like for real, see Jesus. So my only image of Jesus was, of course, the stereotypical image of the long hair, the white guy with the beard, the long white robe, and him floating and glowing because of course he got to be glowing. So I'm like, oh my God, like I'm so excited. Like I've never been to church. Matter of fact, I've never been this excited to go to church before or since. Anyway, so I got these super high expectations about going to church. So I have this vivid memory of my shoes with the patent leather shoes. Like I said, this is the 90s now. The patent leather shoes, the shiny patent leather shoes with the white frilly socks that you fold down. Those shoes and socks are gonna make another appearance, another one of my stories. So watch out for that. Okay, so we go to church. Like I said, I'm excited. Uh, we get there, and I'm so short, I'm so little that when I sit down in the pew, my legs don't touch, my feet don't aren't long enough to touch the floor. So I remember constantly looking at my shoes because I would have to like lean up and lean over and look back at the door because it was two brown swinging doors that swung in and out, and they made noise and they caused like a breeze. So I'm like, okay, so I'll know when Jesus walks in because those doors are going to flap. So every time those doors flap, I look back. I look back. I look back, and it was not Jesus. Jesus never came in. So I'm like, okay, maybe he already here. I just don't see him. So instead of looking back, I'm looking up, I'm looking around, I'm looking up in the pulpit area, I'm looking in the corners. Like I'm just looking all over this church trying to find Jesus because they said this is his house. So I stay leaned up so I could easily keep looking back behind me. Church starts to go on, announcements, prayers, scriptures, all that stuff. This whole time, I'm looking. And after a while, people stop coming in because, we full blown into the church service now. So at this point, I'm mad either they done lied to me and he don't live here or he just late. And if he late, I mean, I understand. Maybe he was out Saturday night performing miracles. He overslept. Okay, all right, but I need you to come in here because I have this expectation of meeting Jesus. I want to meet God. And I want to see him like the pictures I always saw of him glowing and floating with the halo around his head. This the whole reason I'm here. So church continues to go on. And I'm like, okay, we get to the end of this thing. Still no Jesus. So by the time the benediction is said, I got a full blown attitude because I'm like, oh, they lied. Jesus don't live here. And if he do live here, he not fooling with them. And then like I had another thought which was crazy. I'm like, oh well, maybe he got locked out. Maybe he gonna knock on the door. But I'm like, why would he knock on the door if he live here? No, he got a key. And then can't he like phase through the door? I don't know. But like I said, I was so upset. I'm trying to make something make sense about why I didn't get to see Jesus. So yeah, I have not been that excited about church before or since. And I don't think I'll ever be that excited about going to another church service again because, like I said, the expectations were high and they did not get met. Well, y'all, that's the end of this one, but definitely not the end of our journey. So I will see you next story.